Hello everyone. I normally don't do these things. I normally don't like to speak to the camera and tell things or anything like that. I'm not like that, but I think this today is a different case. Today we celebrate the World Autism Acceptance Day, right? And the whole month of April we celebrate the month of autism awareness or autism acceptance. There are now multiple names that people are trying to use, but I want to share my experience a little bit of what does it means to me. As many of you know, if you don't know, well, I have a son, my son Daniel. He's 5 years old, and he was diagnosed with autism. I think when he was about 2.5. Since he was born, we noticed something was off, and the doctors made a lot of tests. And when he turned 2, then we started making more in-depth tests on him, and the outcome was that he was diagnosed with autism. And something I want to tell first, for the parents and the caregivers. Look for help, right? I mean, for yourself. I mean, some people can cope with it really well. In my case, that wasn't the case. I was in a very bad place. I fall into a bad depression, PTSD. I mean, I couldn't handle it properly. I'm an operations person. My job is to work in operations, and I've been doing it for years. And I'm a fixer. I like to find solutions. How can I fix this? And what are the trending says, what the numbers says, and let's find a solution. And I was trying to treat that the same way, and then you can't, right? The other thing I have to say is, besides looking for help, is embrace it. I'm a believer. I'm a Christian, and I think that I try to put a different perspective and say that God gave me the opportunity to raise a kid in the spectrum, and it's been a blessing. I mean, with all the hard things that come with it, I have learned so much, and I have seen God's hand in the process, and how God has been healing my heart and multiple things in this process. I also say it's a lonely process, right? Especially if in our case, we don't have our core family members, right? My family is in Puerto Rico. Most of my family is in Puerto Rico. So it can be lonely, right? And you think like you're the only one doing this. But the main thing and that's something I've been, that we've been talking lately, that, is not only raise awareness and acceptance, but to who, right? One of the things that is funny, because these things happen this past week has been one of those rough weeks, right? My son is now in pre-K. He was taking therapy for a couple of years, and he did great there. So we thought that it was time to now take him to school. So we were talking to my daughter, and my daughter was talking about other kids and everything, and one kid said, "Hey, yeah, Daniel, my son, not me. Daniel is weird. He's a weird kid." So you tend to celebrate everything, right? When with my son, I normally tend to celebrate everything, and every little milestone is a lot, right? He's 5 and he's still not fully potty trained, right? Just to give you an example. Even the other day, when kid was asking, "What he's 5? Was he wearing in diaper?" And my daughter was amazing. My daughter is the greatest advocate for my son. The relationship they have is amazing. My son doesn't go to sleep if it's not in my daughter's bed. So they go to sleep together, and then in the middle of the night, I have to take him out and put him on his bed, because that's the way they wanna do it. But one kid was saying this week, it's like, "Oh, he's weird," and that hurts a little bit. And then there was an open house also in the school of my son this week, so we went there, of course, just to see his progress, talk to the teacher, and as we walk into the hall, that one girl said, point to my son and tells her mom, "Oh, this is the kid who's always scared." Like, my son normally starts cover his ears and start screaming when something doesn't, when he's not coping properly with something, right, or when he's being overstimulated. And again, that's true. Everything she was saying is true, but still, and it's something that I will say that I've been talking to my wife and even a friend of mine who also is raising a kid in the spectrum. She shared that on her Facebook. Is like, we need to raise this with kids, right? I mean, the new statistics says that 1 in 36 children in the United States have been diagnosed with autism. That's the new prevalence, and that's an alarming number. And probably we don't hear about this in the news. We don't hear about this in social media other than maybe today, because I think there's people who's you are not affected by it, and I'm guilty of it, right? It doesn't affect you, but the previous numbers were 1 in 44, and the previous before that I think is 1 in 54. So the rates that this is coming up and up and up and up every time is more and more and more scary. But I will say is, normally people can say that kids in the spectrum like to be alone, like to be by themselves, and that's true, right? I think every case is different, but also I will say, I can tell in the case of my son, I see my son sometimes he wants to be with other kids, right? And he wants to go and play, and he wants to go and go to the playground or something like that. But sometimes it's just too loud, right? Or there's too many kids, and he wants to be there. He wants to engage with others. He just doesn't know how to, or maybe the stimulation is too much for him. So what I would say, if you're a parent, if you're raising a kid, don't stop inviting the weird kid to the birthday. Don't stop inviting the weird kid to to a play date or something like that. These kids, they're kids, and they want to play. They want to engage with others. They just don't know how to, right? And even sometimes sitting and playing, maybe not with them but next to them, is a lot for them. So please, I'm very sure with these numbers, I'm pretty sure somebody who's raising a kid in the spectrum, or is an adult in the spectrum, right? That's the other thing. Autism doesn't stop when you become an adult. That's one of my biggest fears, right? What's going to happen? but there's a lot to do. There's a lot of needs, and be gentle. Sometimes you don't know, right? What people are going through, right? I mean, it's people at work might be stressed. Maybe you don't know what people are going through. Even something as simple as, hey, what's gonna happen? What school my son is gonna go next year? Is he gonna be able to go to school? Or is he gonna have to stay in pre-K? Do we have to take him back to therapy? Summer. What are we gonna do during summer? Not every summer camp accept kids in the spectrum, or kids that are not fully potty trained, or kids that can't communicate properly. Because my son talks, he's verbal, but he still doesn't communicate, as a 5-year-old kid. So there are many things that can add up stress to parents and people. So be nice, because again, you know what people are going through. And I think if we are nicer to each other, I think we will live in a better world. So again, this is kind of a long video, but I wanted to share this with everybody. There's a lot to do. I'm trying to do my very best to do my part. But the only thing I'm gonna ask you is be kind to people. Raise your kids understanding that there's people who are different, right? But they have the same value. The weird kid doesn't mean he's a bad boy, he's a bad girl, or anything like that. It's just they're just a little different. But different is not wrong. That's something that we also need to understand. So if there's anything you want to talk about it, if you're going through something, I'm here to help. I don't pretend to have all the answers, but I definitely can tell you about my experience, which is a lot more than what I have shared here. It's been a journey, but I keep learning every day, and I love that boy so much, and he has taught me so much over the last couple of years, and he keeps doing, and he keeps surprising me, right? This is a kid who, before he can say mom and dad, he can say all the planets and all the dwarf planets and give you facts about them, and and he knew all the states of the United States are where they are, and he can identify just by the shape of the state. And now his new thing is now he knows all the countries of the world and where they are in the map and what flag do they have, so he can identify every single flag of every country in the world. So again, his brain is amazing, the way he thinks and the way he focuses on things, right? And I think sometimes it's just that he focuses on the things he cares, and he doesn't care, he just doesn't focus on that, right? And it's normal. But you know, be kind and teach your kids how to be kind to other kids, because again, you never know when that's gonna be happening to you, or what opportunity you can have to serve somebody else, or keep connecting with people, or help somebody that is in need, or just need a friend, right? So thank you, and have a good day. Bye bye.